So here's a game I was playing against Jeskai Ascendancy. And it's a really tough matchup. They just go off early. You have very little that interacts early, so just have to hope that they sometimes don't go off that early. So I have at least a turn 4 Parallax Wave, which gives me a chance of not just dying, but they can happily go off through Parallax Wave. They have lots of ways to go off through Parallax Wave, but if they don't have a Jeskai Ascendancy, then this is the start that you want. And once they got one card hitted, you don't care that they've got two, really. And you're hoping that Parallax Wave tricks win this game. So I end up exiling an Abundant Growth forever, which is interesting. Now having that under Parallax Wave means that I can use Mastermind to deal with the Jeskai's tendency at instant speed. They didn't reveal a Jeskai tendency of what's his name, which obviously they didn't hit one. And I've got the 3-card combo of Leon and Relic Water, Detention Sphere and Parallax Wave going, which is pretty good. Possibly there I should have played Seagate Oracle, so I had access to any card I could ever want. So maybe I did the wrong thing there. And they finally find the Jeskai tendency. So they've given me a lot of time. Okay, so now I've got the 3-card combo plus a Muldrifter going. I can draw any card in my deck, but it's a bit tedious to draw a whole lot of cards, and there's not really much I want. I probably want a Nevermaker. They decided to disrupt my combo there. I denied them the draw with my Mastermind. And I draw a bunch of cards here because I know they can't use another repeal to disrupt me, but I probably don't get much out of it. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for. Well, at least one Nevermaker is one thing I wanted. And I discard the wrong cards because I should have kept at least one untapped land, even though it doesn't really matter. Having the extra Detention Sphere and Parallax Wave means that I can just use the Detention Sphere to stop their Ascendancy, and then I've got another Detention Sphere to make the loop start up again. So that's good too. They return Repeal, but they don't have enough mana to do anything with the Ascendancy they got back, so I don't know what the point of that Repeal there is. It seems like a very odd play. So here, do I Nevermaker? It's possible that what I should have done here was put all their cantrips on top and then Nevermaker. I'd have a way to disrupt them, and I could... Yeah, I didn't go for the Nevermaker loop, putting all their cantrip stuff on top of their library. But they're pretty much locked out here because whenever they do anything while there's an Ascendancy in play, I put Jeskai Ascendancy back on top of their library, and eventually they run out of cards. At this point, if they don't happen to have anything amazing. Balladid Recovery is getting them back their repeal again, but the repeal doesn't really do anything. At this point, I'm 5 minutes down on clock, which against any other deck, when you haven't won game 1 and you've got 12 minutes left, would be very worrying. But against Ascendancy, it's not too bad because their combo takes so much time that my main aim is making them take a lot of their clock. I'm going to win as fast as I safely can, but I'm not going to be too worried about my clock. Okay, so I've got double Parallax Wave now. I'm not sure if the second one really helps. Unfortunately, Detention Sphere is not Oblivion Ring, so I can exile both your Parallax Waves. I like their play, stopping me using Mastermind. But I don't know what happens here. They decide to repeal in response to a repeal. And I just use my combo to go around and do the same thing all over again. And the repeals never end up drawing a card. Yeah, so I'm back to having a Parallax Wave and a Nevermaker in play. So yeah, their Jeskai Ascendancy just doesn't do anything. And eventually, like here, if they draw, they have to discard the Ascendancy. So no, so they can't use the loot. They can play Jeskai Ascendancy again, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, at this point they've got Ascendancy in hand and nothing going on at all. And I get to loot my stuff again, exile their targetable creatures, and I've still got everything going on. So probably there were things that I could yield to at the start of the combo that would have sped things up. So they cast another Jeskai Ascendancy, and that doesn't do anything. I loot my stuff, but I probably didn't need to because I had lethal flyers. I should have just attacked with my flyers, and then if they did something I would have had to deal with it. Turned out in game 2 Mojo misclicked. They comboed off pretty fast, so within about 4 minutes they should have swung for lethal, and they missed swinging for lethal, and at that point they didn't have any way of winning 2 games in the time allowed. So there's a lot of things that go on in the Parallax Wave games you win against Ascendancy. There's almost nothing that goes on in the games that you lose. You just get crushed, and it happens often, and there's very little you can do. Especially game 1. It's very lucky for me to win game 1.